Good afternoon, dear students. I, Dr. Kunjal Lotwala, welcome you all on behalf of Agarwal Vidya Vihar English Medium College in this session of written and spoken communication. As you are aware about it, we have discussed the first prose and poem in last 2-3 lectures. Now moving ahead with your syllabus, the next poem is Punishment in Kindergarten. I would like to remind you here that I have shared with you the certain material regarding first prose and poem. If you have any queries, you can pose your question in Google Classroom so that I can uh, give the answer also. And if you have any queries, I can sort it out. Now, moving ahead with the Punishment in Kindergarten by Kamla Das. Let us have a glance on about the author. Uh, Kamala Das, who is Indian writer, she was born in Malabar region of Kerala. The life of Kamala Das, the lifespan is 1934 to 2009. Like her work was marked by several twists and turns. So it seems that no, her works resembles her life. She shot into popularity with her confessional mode of poetry. Hitherto, that is up to now, considered the domain of Western poets like Sylvia Plath and wrote candidly, making forays into the emotional lives of women. So generally it is said that Kamala Das is Indian women writer who attempts forays means who attempts into the emotional lives of the women. So whatever they are suffering, whatever emotional turmoil they are facing, their pain, their plight, everything, she penned down everything into her works of art. Her first book of poetry, Summer in Calcutta, came out in 1965, but it was her 1973 collection, The Old Playhouse and the Other Poems, that brought her wide recognition. The Old Playhouse made her popular in this Indian writer's galaxy. Her autobiographical work, My Story, which was published in 1976, and her experiments with prose received great applause. She was deeply influenced by her mother, Balamani Amma, and she published many short stories and novels in Malayalam under the pen name Madhvi Kutti. So she has given her pen name, that is Madhvi Kutti. Drawing upon religious and domestic imagery to explore a sense of identity, Das, that is Kamala Das, writes about intensely personal experiences, including her growth into womanhood. So, how she is getting mature from the young adulthood to the adulthood. So, Punishment in Kindergarten is one such poem that dramatizes the trauma that she had undergone in school. So kindergarten itself is suggesting pre-primary, primary school, right? So this is what she is describing her own experience during this period of time when she was in school. Now moving ahead with about the poem, Kamala Das reveals in her autobiography that the poem is based on her experience during a picnic to Victoria Garden in Kolkata. So as it is mentioned in her autobiography, so you can consider this poem is also resembling her autobiographical event. That when she was a kid, when she was a student in a school, uh, at that point of time, she had certain kind of experience. She is writing those experiences in her poem. So, her experience during a picnic to Victoria Gardens in Kolkata. That is what she is describing. So, setting, you are aware about what is the setting of the poem? Victoria Gardens in Kolkata. While she was alone near a hedge, the other girls were playing. So it's suggesting that she is different from the other girls. That other girls were playing in the garden. On the contrary, this girl, this Kamala Das, when she was a girl, at that point of time, she was standing alone. The insensitive teacher chided her. Chided means notify angrily. The insensitive teacher cruelly said something. So notify her for being alone. That why you are standing so strange and alone? Why don't you play with such with no this troop of people? She ruminates. She ruminates over the childhood hurt. So she ruminates. She reflects over the childhood hurt with a sense of mature detachment. So she is resembling those things in her mind while she is telling that no, now present scenario as an adult, I perceive those things differently. So she is detached with this thing. The poem juxtaposes. Juxtaposes means putting side by side to show the contrast. So the poem juxtaposes the past and present. So past event and present events are put together side by side so that one can find the contrast, that no, what is the difference when she was a kid and what is the difference to perceive those events when she is an adult. So childhood innocence and adult experience, the sharp memory of pain and the blurred images of people. So this is what now juxtaposed, showing the contrast from past to present. Although the poet declares that there is no need to remember that picnic day. The very fact that she recalls experience so vividly shows that the pain is far from forgotten. So at one point of time, she is telling that no, as an adult, I need not to remember all such things, that pain and everything that she faced during a kid. And on the contrary, ironically, she is showing that pain also. So on one hand, she is telling that no one should forget about it. But ironically, on the other hand, she is telling that no, this is the pain that I have faced. And she still remembers, she still, no, she has written this poem as an adult. So this is what about the poem. I now recite the poem Punishment in Kindergarten. Today, the world is a little more my own. No need to remember the pain. A blue-frocked woman caused throwing words at me like pots and pans to drain the honey-colored day of peace. Why don't you join the others? What a peculiar child you are. On the lawn, in clusters, sat my schoolmates, sipping sugarcane. They turned and laughed. Children are funny things. They laugh in mirth at others' tears. I buried my face in the sun-warmed hedge and smelled the flowers and the pain. The words are muffled now. The laughing face is only a blur. The years have sped along, stopping briefly at beloved hearts and moving sadly on. My mind has found an adult peace. No need to remember that picnic day when I lie hidden by a hedge, watching the still white sun standing lonely in the sky. So this is very small and interesting poem. We always carry childhood memories with us into our adult life. Some may be painful, some may be happy. You may also remember certain unforgettable incidents from childhood. I'm sure that you can, if at this point of time, if you are listening this, you may be recollecting from your childhood. The poem is a moving through simple rendering of a childhood memory. The poet recalls an incident from the past which is still very painful. Here we listen the voice of an adult, but the heart the child felt is recreated. So begin with the first stanza. Today, the world is a little more my own. So in the first line, the narrator is now an adult. So today, in present, she is telling the world is a little more my own. As if she is more confident as an adult, she is more confident and have control over her life. This line makes it clear that she is going to talk about a past event that was not pleasant for her. So today she is happy, she is contented, and she is now reflecting the past. No need to remember the pain. So she is telling that no need to remember. So in adult life, there is no need to remember childhood pain. But memories take you over and force you to recall that painful incident. So she begins by narrating day in her childhood, that is in kindergarten, when she went to a picnic along with other students. So today the world is a little more my own. No need to remember the pain of childhood. Now she is taking us to the past. So a blue-frogged woman caused, throwing words at me like pots and pans. So blue-frogged woman. Who is this blue-frogged woman? A teacher in a kindergarten who wore blue frock. A blue-frogged woman is a compound objective that describes that the noun woman. What kind of woman? A blue-frogged woman. The child remembers all the details, minute details, clearly, even the color of the teacher's dress. This is what peculiar. So throwing words like pots and pans. So scolding her loudly and harshly. This is also simile. So pots, like words at me like. This like is showing figures of speech, that is simile. So the comparison is between word shouted in anger and the pots and pans, which makes a lot of noise when handled roughly. So, teacher is speaking harsh words, which is so painful. Drain means made empty. So to drain that honey-colored day of peace. Honey colored means sunny day, which promises sweetness and peace. So just as pots and pans are used to collect or drain things, to empty the things, suggest also the words of the teacher, drain, honey colored day. A honey colored means a beautiful sunny golden day that promised sweetness and peace. So this is what drained by the teacher's words. So the peaceful day is drained by the teacher's words. Why don't you join the others? What a peculiar child you are. Peculiar means here strange. So the children's desire was to be alone. She would like to be alone. And this was not understood by the teacher, who saw her behavior as strange. So the poet uses ample of symbols like blue-frogged woman in this first stanza. For her teacher, throwing words at me like pots and pans to make us feel the intensity of teacher's words. The honey-colored day, for the day which was ruined by the harsh words of her teacher. So in short, in the first stanza, the narrator, who is now an adult, recalls a painful incident of childhood. The incident happened in kindergarten on a bright sunny day. All the children were playing together. The narrator was sitting alone. On seeing this, the blue-frocked teacher scolded her harshly in the presence of her classmates. She called her peculiar child a strange child for wanting to be alone when all were playing. In this stanza, the first line speak of the present. From the second line onwards, the past is described. So you see that today is describing the present, and then later on everything has been written in past tense. So I am sure that you are clear with the first stanza. Moving ahead with the second stanza. On the lawn in clusters sat my schoolmates sipping sugar cane. On the lawn in clusters. Clusters means bunch or group. So on the lawn in clusters, in groups, the contrast here is shown that between the narrator who sat alone and the other children who sat in groups. So the poet says when the teacher scolded her, other students who were sipping sugar cane started laughing at her. So schoolmates sipping sugar cane, they turned and laughed. So they have started laughing. They have noticed that no teacher has scolded a girl, and they have started laughing. Children can be unknowingly cruel here, as they laugh at others' discomfort. They laugh at others' pain, and they did the same when she was scolded without realizing how much she was hurt. Then, children are funny things. They laugh in mirth at others' tears I buried. Other tears. So she says, yes, and I buried my face in the sun-warm hedge and smelt the flowers and the pain. So these children were laughing at her. So she buried her face. So she says, mirth. Mirth means gladness, which expresses the laughter. So what, as a result of it, what this little Kamala Das has done? She buried her face. So in this line, she is telling, my face in the sun-warmed hedge. I buried my face in the sun-warmed hedge and smelled the flowers and the pain. She says, buried my face means bent my head and hid my face in the sun-warmed hedge. Sun-warmed hedge means made warm by the heat of the sun, and hedge means a boundary wall made by a small plants planted close together. So as being heard, she hid her face in the sun-warmed hedge and smelled the flowers and the pain. So the poet here associates flowers with pain. She has tried to compare her childhood with the flower, which is quite delicate. Hence, she probably wants to convey that these events shook her innocent childhood. So in short, the narrator means author, poet, remembers the details of that painful day. The other schoolmates were sipping sugarcane juice on the lawn when they heard the teacher shouting at the narrator. They turned and laughed in merriment at the narrator's tears. Unable to bear the shame, the child buried its head in the plants. The deep hurt scared the child forever. We can very easily identify with the child here, can't we? Children are hurt by every trivial things. What seems to be a major tragedy to the child will be to the adult a silly matter. So that's why she is showing the contrast that as an adult, I don't even remember, I don't want to remember such things, such petty things. But as a child, it has its intense effect. So it notices that the two voices in the poem, an adult voice which relieves the agony of the past. I hope I am clear with the second stanza. Now moving ahead with the third stanza. The words are muffled now. The laughing faces only a blur. The years have sped along. So the words are muffled. Muffled means muted. So the words are muffled, not very clear. Now the laughing face is only a blur. Blur means unclear picture. So again she is describing the present. Now means she is describing right now the present scenario. Now she is an adult. See, this is a kind of pendulum situation. She is moving to past and then present. Past, then present. The way pendulum is moving. So, time with its healing power has reduced the intensity of the harsh words and clear memory of the cruel laughing faces. Gone fast. Gone fast, sped along. Sped means gone fast. So, stopping briefly at beloved halts and moving. Halts means memorable things. That at beloved halts and moving sadly on. So, memorable things or landmarks in life. Here, the poet uses the metaphor of life as a journey with halt and landmarks. So, the poet says that now she is grown up. The memory of that event has faded away because there is nothing in her childhood to cherish and desire for. So she's telling, my mind has found an adult peace. So peace of mind an adult gets through wisdom. Ironically, she's telling that now I am adult. I got that peaceful mind. No need to remember that picnic day when I lie hidden by a hedge, watching the still white sun standing lonely in the sky. Ironically, we saying again that "No, I got that peace of mind," but ironically, she's telling no need to remember her helplessness in the forgetting it is quite visible. So the memory has not faded away, but quite clear in her mind, as she remembers everything so well and know everything about that day. So again, she's telling by a hedge, watching the still white sun standing lonely in the sky. So by a hedge, watching the still. So by a hedge, watching the still white sun. Again, the quality of harshness and cruelty is suggested here. The sun seems to be harsh and cruel because it is firstly it is noon and very hot, and secondly the harsh and cruel behavior of teacher and schoolmates makes it so. So standing lonely in the sky, there is a similarity between the lonely sun and the lonely sky. Thus the adult voice speak again in the present. The years have reduced the intensity and harshness of the hurtful incident. Time has healed the pain, the agony, no, the word that has angry words and the laughing faces are now vague, are now vague and unclear. The years have gone by very fast. Certain incidents close to the heart are remembered and others are forgotten. Life moves on. The narrator, now an adult, is able to look back on that painful incident peacefully and come to terms with it. There is no need anymore to remember the childhood incident. So, this is what she is describing in this third stanza. I hope you are clear with the whole poem. If you have any queries, you can pose your questions in Google Classroom. In next lecture, this is the glossary which is I have discussed already while discussing the poem. Short question answers we will discuss in next session. Thank you for the patience listening.